my parents who were like, what the fuck? You're going to turn down like being rich to go drive in a van with your friends across the country? But so I did. And yeah.
Welcome back to Barely Scraping By. I was tip-topping away on my computer when I was in my other department, and this king right here to my left was being funny, silly, goofy, and people aren't funny, silly, goofy over email because everyone has a stick up their arse. And so when you gave me a little bit of personality, I'm like, who are you? Who the hell are you? So then I started hunting.
Do you want me to take over the intro?
No.
All right, guys, we're back. Barely Scraping By podcast. We met over email.
No,
Sorry,
okay.
keep going.
I'm a professional. I'm a professional. Okay, I can be professional. Okay. So anyways, Dorian was giving me a little bit, personality, and I was interested because no one gives personality over email. So I was like, I need to know who this person is, and I do not know who they are. And it was like a weird random connection. My boss was meeting with one of your bosses, but I was like, okay, whatever. If someone has personality, I'm intrigued. So I reach out. We go get drinks, and we had an amazing conversation where Dorian told me I need to have a date a week for the rest of my life until I find my husband.
It's true. No, not your husband. Whatever you want to find. But anyway, keep going.
So then we were sitting yapping over drinks, and it was an amazing conversation. It was just like good and lighthearted and funny, and we were talking about entertainment, and you were, telling me a little bit about you and what got you into it and how you write your own scripts and how you've been so invested for so long. And he's just had like a crazy story, and I've always been intrigued by that. That's why I've been hounding you to get on the pod for maybe a year now. Like I've had my eyes set, and because I just found what you've been through and what you've done and how you contributed to this world and your work, I just really wanted to give it a platform and speak about you. And so that's why I've been consistent, and that's why I'm so happy to have you here today, because you have such a great energy and a great presence, and I wanted to bring that to Barely Scraping By. So giggles aside, you are a person I wanted for a reason, and I'm so happy to have you here. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. That was really good.
I locked in.
You locked in. I was like, whoa, it's crispy. Okay, great. Now I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about you. What brought you to LA? Give us a little intro. Give us a little taste of what Dorian's about and why I have been wanting you here. No, I know why. But yeah, what got you into entertainment? What brought you to LA, and what are you up to?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a great question. I feel like, how you have like this answer, like at least for me, I feel like I have the 1 minute version of the answer, the 5 minute version, the like 2 hour, like sitting down and like emotional, whatever version of that answer. Like you can kind of go as deep as you want there, but I feel like the brief answer is that I grew up loving movies, and I grew up making movies with my friends. Shout out Rocus Productions here. If anyone, I don't even know if this is the right angle, but this is the best scene from the first movie my friends and I ever made when we were like 15, 16. And
why does that make me want to cry?
Best summer ever. A little zombie movie. Most of the movie, not that good. But this scene actually still holds up 15, 16 years later. So yeah, but no, that was really important to me. And the group of friends that I had was like a lot of sort of found family, like, I mean, I don't want to say, but like divorced homes and like maybe some frustrations with the home life. And so we would just spend all of our time together. And then we like just had projects that we would always work on, whether it's like bands or movies or something. And then movies really stuck out to me as something that I just loved making. And then, yeah, blah, 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 went to college, studied studied software engineering, decided, oh, that is not for me.
Ooh, this ain't me.
Worst summer of my life.
Did you graduate with that degree?
Yeah, graduated with that degree. I even had like an internship my junior year going into like senior year that summer, and it was just so
booty
painful. Cheeks? Yeah, it was actual booty cheeks. And yeah, without a doubt, worst summer of my life. And
why? Because just the job was so horrible?
The job was horrible. I was in a relationship that was very much so not healthy. Shout outs taught me a lot about what I can endure. Shout outs. But no, we were all young, so no harm, no foul. But yeah, but that was just.
Why are you laughing?
But yeah, no, I think I just I knew that was not. Like I saw this path out in front of me. And then I also got, because it was at the time before that bubble burst. So it's like being a software engineer at a good school, I was like just handed a 6-figure salary offer, like while I was still a student in my senior year. And I was like, oh man, if I just say yes to this, I'll be like rich. I'll have a cool house. I don't know. I don't care about cars. I'll buy like an Xbox and
and life will be sweet.
Life will be so sweet.
I'll have little Sandies in the fridge.
Yes.
Oh
juices,
my god. Juice boxes and apple juice.
Boxes, apple juices. I'll never worry about the cost of groceries or the cost of anything. But I was so unhappy. So then I had these two friends, Tyler and Artun. Shout outs to Tyler and Artun. Should I make can that be a recurring?
Sure.
I'm just shouting out.
Sure, you can shout out.
So anyway, I decided not to go. I actually reneged because I had already signed my contract.
Oopsie, took the check.
I burned that bridge forever. And shout out to Microsoft. So my boys were like, we're actors. We're moving to LA no matter what.
I need to stop laughing when you're speaking.
Yeah, don't laugh at me. I'm being so vulnerable. My two friends whom I love, Tyler and Artun.
I'm listening.
They're like, we're actors. We're going to move to LA no matter what. There's nothing you can say to stop us. I'm like, that's so insane. Like, don't do that. How are you going to pay for gas? How are you going to pay for groceries? I was like, so.
I have a 6-figure job on the way.
Yeah,
How are you going to leave me here when I'm rich and wealthy?
Yeah. And I realized in hindsight, the whole time I was like searching for reasons for them to convince me to go. And eventually they just kind of did, like all of the sort of good energy and the fact that they were like, whatever happens, happens. We're going to be working and we're going to be setting up lives for ourselves no matter what. And then we're also just going to be grinding and trying to do this thing we're passionate about. And we think it's going to work out. And if it doesn't, we have plans for, and they just made it something I could swallow and something that I could essentially explain to my parents, who were like, what the fuck? You're going to turn down like being rich to go drive in a van with your friends across the country? But so I did. And I wasn't even writing at that point. I hadn't written anything outside of, again, Rocus Productions. But it was my friend Neil Cunningham. Shout out to Neil Cunningham. Find him in Life in Pieces and the Sex and the City reboot and plenty of other things. Oakjaw.
Sick.
Yep. When I went totally broke, zeroed out, no apartment, no nothing, he let me stay on his couch. It was very nice for like 2 months. And then I got a job as a PA and I kind of all uphill from there. So yeah, I move out here. I start writing because that friend Neil had like a playwriting competition or company or something where he was like, oh, I just want to like do plays with my friends. And like, I know a bunch of cool writers. And I was like, I could write a 1-act play. Like, who's to say? I have good ideas.
Yeah, just rescinded my offer
ideas
from Microsoft. I could do the damn thing.
Yeah, 1 act. It's not even a full play. So I wrote that. It was not good, but I really enjoyed it. And so then I wrote for my friend Artun, who wanted to get his SAG card. It turned out there was this like secret hack where you could do, I think they've patched this loophole, so don't try this at home. But it was like, if you shot a new media digital web series or whatever, and you made it SAG official and you filled out the paperwork and you had to spend like, I think it was like maybe $1,000. But he essentially was able to just buy his SAG card. And he was like, well, I want to do it right. Like, I don't want it to just be stupid. So Dorian, why don't you write something? And I wrote something and it like was really fun. And shout out to me, won some little awards, got into some little festivals. And you know that like nugget of positive feedback is what that can keep the engine going for a long time. If you really want to be in this game, you got to be able to take like one Screencraft, shout outs, grand prize winner, Westinghouse, look it up. You got to be able to take that.
This episode's going to be called Shout Out.
Shout outs.
We're literally going to we're not even going to.
Shout outs, shout out. Which of these should I be shouting out?
You
by
could
the way?
shout out both of them.
Okay.
You can shout out the world right now.
Shout outs, Rokus Productions. Okay.
SAG Award, Grand.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We do that. We had to go to like some film festivals off of that. It was really fun. And it made me feel like, oh man, like maybe I could do something like this. Maybe, but anyway, so yeah, that kind of got me. That's how I got to LA. That's how I started writing. That's how I started like having a tiny bit of faith in myself that maybe I have something to offer. And yeah.
Okay. Before we get into the little nuggets of positive reinforcement and validation that you so live for and just need to continue on thriving and living, I want to do a little segment.
Oh, there are segments. I can't wait to listen to this on the way home. Not this episode, obviously.
This little segment's called the Body Boots.
How many other tricks you have hidden back there? What the hell?
I'm crying.
Holy shit.
And he was fully, when he came in, he was doing like a full lap around the apartment being like, oh, the magnets, the pictures. And he
I was scouting out.
He was scouting out, but he didn't see this little
Didn't see
hidden
the
little
body boot.
I hate that I'm crying so much. I'm giggling so much I'm crying. Anyways, you're going to reach your little hand in here and you're going to pull a little question and you're going to read it out loud and you're going to read it into the mic and then you're going to answer. If you don't like the question, you can pull another.
Can we get rid of that?
Well, no one's picked another, but I know some questions can be a little intimidating. We can get rid of that.
Yeah. This is the longest strip of...
You come in here and you just keep shaking your finger at everything. Can nothing be right for you?
Yes, nothing can be right for me. Shout outs my endless dissatisfaction and constant yearning for more. Have you ever had a crush on someone you worked with that made things weird in the office? Okay, yes, probably. Look, I'm engaged, people, so...
Freshly, as I just learned today.
Yes. Do I crush on people in the office anymore? No. I mean, I probably still could, actually. Like, in terms of... I feel like feelings don't disappear and, you know, like, we're all human beings. Shout outs, Claire Gelbart. Can we get a shout outs to Claire?
I fully thought I was like, shout out to Claire.
Yes.
Shout out to Claire.
Shout
If you're crushing on a
Gelbart.
Claire, if you're crushing on a Claire,
If you're crushing on a Claire, let me just say...
your world is good.
Worth it.
Worth it. Worth it.
As... Yeah.
You gave a shout out to your crush.
Oh,
your
yeah.
past crush.
Well, so here's the thing. It was a like 2-year crush that was just kind of like, I think we both knew what was going on, but didn't end up happening. And then right before I graduated, we ended up hooking up, and I was just like, I'm so in love with you. Like, we should date. She was like she was my most serious relationship prior to my current fiance. And she actually just hit me up. Claire just texted me recently saying congrats on your engagement, and also that she's engaged with a baby girl. So engaged. she is pregnant with a baby girl. So shout outs to Claire's child.
Well, what was and we're done there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but Dorian's being coy. He then wrote, you got representation.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into that. So he came out here. Let's set the foundation of what he just said. Came out here, no background, wrote a script, wrote a 1-act play, never done it before, got a bunch of awards, obviously knew he was shit. And then bada bing, bada boom. Let's talk about your representation.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because that still is so sick.
Yeah, so sick.
Get into it.
Should we shout outs Jacob Perlin,
Sure.
Aaron Bergman? We should also shout outs Dave Cantor, even though he's no longer repping me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But let's get into how you found representation, how you went from being a engineer to being a repped writer.
Representation. Okay, yeah. So I got I was working as a PA for a few years. As I was working, while I was working as a PA, I was kind of just like writing janky shit. I wrote a sitcom. It was about what if the survivors of a human centipede all lived in a house together. That was called Sewn Together. And it was really designed actually like kind of cynically to be noisy. Like I really wanted to, as long as we're talking, the topic is like representation, I feel like that's kind of a cynical topic to begin with, of like, okay, like we're all here trying to do something and like get something made. And there are these gatekeepers along the way. And it's great to have keys to unlock those gates. And maybe if you're an actor, if you're a producer, whatever, you just have the sauce, you've got the vision, you know art, and you know how to make things work.
And that's you.
That is not me. I was sitting there like I had all these feelings, yes, bursting out at the seams. I wanted to write cool stuff. I want that next level. And so I just wrote something where I was like, I won't allow anyone reading this to get bored. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but they will not be fucking bored by a single word, by a single line or a paragraph, bit of dialogue. I was like, this has got to just be an endless series of punches to the face. And it has to have a one sentence thing that makes you laugh. Like that was my, again, very cynical. I don't think that's the way art should be made, but whatever. And I wrote that while I was PAing. I would like work. I'm actually kind of proud, like shout outs to me for a second. I'm kind of proud of the bit of work I put in. I was so depressed at that time. And I was working really long hours, and I just would go home and I would write and then sent this out, and it kind of got like the friend of a friend of a friend, like pass around treatment, but people would want to read it. Like someone would say, people would want to meet with me off of it. They would show it to their friends. And then it got shown to someone at Quibi, which no longer exists. But then that dude got fired once, or Quibi imploded. So then he got a different job over at Sony. And then he kind of used it to like be noisy on his end. You know what I mean? Like you want to be useful to other people, and everyone needs something from someone to like get going. And if you're a writer, if you can give someone a script that they can then use as like, hey, look at this crazy script that I found. I'm that dude. I'm plugged in. I found the, you know, whatever noisy script of the day that we're going to talk about in the office. I'm bored hearing myself talk about it. But
I'm interested.
But I ended up selling that. But the combination of like luck and doing the thing, like I was trying to write something designed in the shape of a key to open the gate that I felt was currently boxing me in. And that got sold to Sony. And then through there, like once you sell something, it becomes easier to set up meetings, and it just got passed around. And then he went to Sony, and that was one of the first things when he joined there. He was like, hey, like you guys should read this. And then someone else was like, passed it to their boss, and then it just went beep, 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 beep. And then like the head of Sony Comedy was like, I want to meet this kid, see? And yeah, went in and met, and I pitched it. So yeah, then blah, blah, blah. You get to meet with reps after you sell something, but it was not like.
You sold that unwrapped?
Unwrapped, yeah.
Holy fucking shit. Let's put this in. I want to put this in layman's. What is it? Layman's terms?
Layman's terms. Selling
a script unwrapped is basically finding like, I don't know, like a hidden gem in the middle of a desert. Like it is so hard to do anything without representation in this industry. So the fact that you sold it unwrapped, kudos, because that is extremely difficult.
Yes, I would say it's essentially impossible.
Yeah.
Unless you have to like do the thing where you are making like, there's no way I'm not doing that if I'm not also like hanging out and meeting people at my level who then like everyone knows someone, and everyone again is trying to get somewhere. And so you don't want to say like leveraging your relationships, but that is what it is. And the way to do that and not feel like everything is just this like beep boop calculator of whatever, is to then like be a homie to these people in return and try and allow yourself to be a connection between where they want to be and where they are or whatever. But yeah.
So you sold the script, you got representation.
Yep.
What happened after that?
I kind of got a little out over my skis thinking like, I can't remember. I remember it was a kind of rocky fall for me. So shout outs to Sean Freites, one of my best boys OD'd, and I was like, boop, and then sold this script, and I was like, boop, and we were like talking. I was going to be going in. I was going to be doing my water bottle tour, which is where you like meet everybody and do your, talk your shit and whatever. And then it was a week later, COVID, boop, and no one was like meeting or talking about stuff. And my show got immediately sidelined because they were like, this show's extremely dark. And I don't know if you remember development conversations from spring and summer of 2020, but it was all like hope, like everything. We want hope, and people are yearning for like fucking Ted Lasso right now. Like everything is Ted Lasso. And
you're like, let's die.
And so it got to the point developing this script where people were asking questions about like, well, is it a really good foundation? Could they just be like friends living in a house together? Like, do we need the human centipede like element of this like past hyper traumatic haunted thing? And I was like, what? And what are we even doing here?
I have representation now. What the fuck, dude? What are you doing?
But essentially, I think I remember having this conversation after I sold it and after I got my reps, where someone told me like, "Whoa, you're like in this next level. Like you're never going to be an assistant again."
Psych.
Not true.
We said psych.
We said nope.
So you're walking on sunshine. You got the representation.
Walking on sunshine. I like write some stuff, again, very meaningful to me, and it's just like, no
fart.
Yeah, fart noise. That's not going to do anything. But I'm just like trying to work hard, do my thing, like establish good relationships, blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just so much that I can fast forward through by just saying like, anytime I thought like, oh my God, I'm cashing in my lottery ticket, it's like, just like to the moon. That has never been the case. It has always just been a really good and really small step forward that will have plenty of backward steps along the way. And it's like, let's look like a year ago, as of, summer 2024, was that last summer? Yeah. Summer 2024, I had sold a show. I'd been like the lead of development on like a big piece of IP that was going to be a TV show. Then that got pulled. I had done punch-ups on a big show and thought I was going to get staffed on the next season. It never ended up going anywhere. I was going to get staffed on a different show, and then that one just imploded like right before. So I had all these things where I was like, oh, next level, not happening. And then I started being like an assistant just to pay the bills again, a full like last year. And I really thought like, oh, I'm not going to be an assistant again. But, you look at the number in the bank account and you go like, this is what I got to do. And okay, like let's get back in, do it with a smile, and like make good relationships. And like, you've been doing the assistant life. It's hard to do that while also doing stuff like this. And yet here we are chatting, you know what I mean? You're grinding. You got a second season of a podcast coming out. Like that's just what you got to do. And I know that you're like moving and you've got your own, I'm sure, feelings of like, oh, this is like my next level. But you could very easily have not seen rock bottom yet. And when you see it, you got to just like, use that to get tougher and start swimming back up again.
Well, it's funny. And that's why I feel like I connected to you so much in that moment, in that conversation, over the course of this 2 hangout friendship. The 2 hangouts we've had to feel this level. It's like, you just keep doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you never quit. Mm-hmm. So you just keep going.
Yeah. And even quitting is another moment that you can kind of just work through. Like I had one big moment where I fully quit, and it was my like go broke moment where I just kind of ran out of money. I packed up all my shit. I lost my apartment, and I was like, getting ready to drive back to the East Coast and just see, okay, what's this next chapter going to be? Work in the deli with my brother and like do whatever. And I feel like if I had done that, I would have just like, that would have been a whole different life. And I would have tried to make that the best version that could be. And then I kind of got my like Deus Ex Machina first PA job, like right within that week window between packing up and leaving. And then I was back in it and I like stayed again. But I feel like, like even quitting is something that you can just like, okay, so you quit. Maybe you spent a year or 5 years, like feeling down about yourself. And then like, what can you learn from that? But you gotta
5 years.
You gotta just be a fighter, you know, you gotta be able to take punches and just get back up again.
I'm lost for words right now.
Great. What's on this big card?
I want to ask you this question.
Yeah, let's get to it.
The guest before you asked you a question. And
this is a fun thing. Are you kidding? And then am I going to?
You're going to. Get excited.
That's so fun. Okay.
The guest before you said, why do you work on the projects you do? Why do you work on the projects you do? Like you're out of your projects out of work, your shorts, your features, your scripts and your writing. Like why do you continue to do it? Like what is the force that like pushes you forward and why do you do it?
I would say a combination of self-expression and a desire for money.
Is that period right there?
That's for the big ones. And then for the smaller ones, like every week, as soon as I'm finished with this, my friend Tyler and I, one of the people I drove out here with, I write him like a scene every week and we tape it. And that's because a combination of self-expression and I want to get better at my craft so that I can make money. And then like short films, we try and do like a short film every year, something like that. That is get better at my craft so I can make money, try and create like an environment for my friends where they could, let's say somehow the short is actually good and pops off. Maybe they can get some exposure as actors and then they can make some money. Yeah.
Love that. And then what is the question that you want to ask the next guest? You can sit in that, no rush.
I feel like we've been talking a lot about like grit and I feel like this has been kind of like a hard work pays off type conversation. Does that feel right? I feel like it does.
That feels right.
Yeah.
That feels right.
So maybe it's a little bit of like, I mean, the crazy question would be, what's the time that you worked really hard and it didn't pay off?
That's perfect. That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
And Nicole knows the next guest and she knows it's going to be perfect.
Okay, great.
Well, Dorian, I laughed and then I sucked it in because you told me not to. And then I laughed again. And then I giggled and then I cried and then I had a heartfelt moment and all the shout outs that you gave and the life you've lived has been quite a moment for you. And you always have little nuggets of wisdom that you leave with me. I internalize them, I sit with them, and I appreciate you sharing. And I'm glad I got you on here and that you made the time to come over here. And
thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. You're so welcome.
Should we handshake?
Sure. I bid you adieu, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a treat. Ta-ta.